Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. As usual, Quentin D'Souza is here with me. How are you, Quentin?
I'm excellent. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. We're getting back into dry season here, so summer is on the horizon for us. How's the weather there?
It's starting to get cold. We've got snow, I think, coming up on the weekend. So I've got another week here, and then I'm gonna head off to Spain for 3 weeks. So that will
What's
be
what's the
good.
weather like there? Is it always? It's
It's
not always hot, right?
no, it's between like 15 and 20, so it's not too
It's not
hot, not
bad.
too cold. So I'm it's better than snow. That's all I have to say. But doesn't
Well,
mean
when are
that
you
we're
coming
gonna.
back? You'd probably be back before the snow.
Yeah, but I do like snow at Christmas time, so like I like it with all the lights and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and then by the time January comes, I'll get a little tired of it. But
yeah, me too. That's a sacrifice I had to make, though. You know, we want
how's how's the weather in Costa Rica?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually it's supposed to be raining here in the afternoons because the weather's pretty steady, right? So you get up in the morning, it'd be nice during rainy season. Actually, it just started raining. That's funny. But most the last few days it hasn't been raining, but it should be raining right now. So we've had a nice little break from that.
Awesome. What are you working on there? Any projects or anything on the go?
Yeah, a couple of things that haven't worked out, Quentin. So I'm not going to talk about them. I was working. I think I mentioned to you that I was working on something, and
Yeah.
it's just not going to work out. So, back to the drawing board. Just,
Got to keep at it, right?
yeah,
That's the key. I've I just started another refinance. Hopefully we'll get that done early January of a 9 unit. We originally bought it for like I want to say I can't off the top of my head, I think it's like 620 or 650, and we're looking at a mortgage now of about like 1.3. So that'll be a good our current mortgage, I believe, is like 700. So it'll be a good takeout once we're done, but that's going to be in the early next year. So I still have ones that I'm trying to finish off. I'm just finding that the banks are dragging their feet when it comes to refinances. So hopefully, anyways, I keep harping on this, but got to get it done.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Are you still buying stuff, or are you?
Yeah, I'm working on 14 units right now, so but we're probably gonna close in early next year. I was hoping to get it closed in November, but it's not gonna happen, obviously. So I'm just gonna keep working on it. And if there's if there's a really good opportunity, I'm gonna take advantage of it for sure. But I have a lot of real estate, so you know, adding more to it, it's more important to me, the quality of the asset that I'm going to add, not the volume of it, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's the key.
So you're telling us it's a good deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I'm bringing it to you and you say no, there's something wrong with you.
Okay, I gotcha.
Just
All
kidding.
right. Well, everyone
Okay.
listening, go over to breakthroughreipodcast.ca. You can get in touch with all of our past guests. We've got if you go into the show notes, all of the links that they've given us are in there to contact whoever you want from past shows that we've done. So go over there, breakthroughreipodcast.ca. It's a good resource if you're loving the show and want to talk to some of the people that we've talked to. And then go over to iTunes and leave us a rating and review. Please do that. I know it probably just sounds like something that you hear me say every time. But if you haven't done it, just take a couple seconds and go over and leave us a review. We really appreciate it. If you think Quentin's falling off because he's just getting too used to being here now, and the spark and excitement of when he was first on the show have gone away, let us know, and
Ouch.
we'll nip it in the butt. Make sure that we pull it out of them. You know what I mean? Whatever we need to do. It probably wouldn't be anything about me, but if it is, then we'll hear that too. But yeah, so just go leave us a rating and review. It just helps us a lot. I can't remember how many we've got, but a lot of you have done it, so I appreciate everyone that has went over and left us a review. And that's it, Quentin. Let's talk to our
Yes.
guest.
Right. So our guest, I'm gonna say I'm gonna mispronounce your name, so I'm gonna get you to help me. But it's Dr. M. Bill. I just call you Bill, so it makes it a lot easier. Dr. Bilgenham
Yep.
Erdem.
Yeah, that's very good.
Is a machine learning expert, technical leader, and educator based in Toronto. He holds a PhD, a Master of Science, a Bachelor of Science in Industrial and Systems Engineering. He spent the last decade building and scaling AI driven products, most notably the CTO of Smart Nova, where he held an end to end development uh, non intrusion snore prevention device used
Hmm.
globally. Huh. He specializes in applied machine learning, optimization, and product focused engineering with hands on experience across hardware and firmware. He's an adjunct professor at Toronto Metropolitan University, teaching data analytics, Python, database systems, and advanced statistical modeling. Basically he's saying he's really smart and me and Rob are in trouble here. He's passionate about building practical solutions, mentoring students, and exploring new opportunities at the intersection of uh, ML, smart devices, and real world problem solving. It's tough when like the description of the person. It's hard to make out all the words. I'm sorry. I
Tot- Totally okay.
I'm
Totally.
sure you got it.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, welcome. Thanks
but
for joining us.
but we are talking real estate this one. So I've got a little bit of advantage
Yeah.
there. Rob's got a little bit of advantage, and we can talk the same language. So what I wanted to find out is maybe tell a little bit about your real estate story. So a background about how you got going in all of this.
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to kick off with a thanks, and it's not a figure of speech. Like, thanks for having me for two reasons. Obviously, thanks for having me. But for the other reason is I was literally coming from the job site earlier today. I had to go to one of my job site in Peterborough, and I was talking about this. So I have my landscaping people, we're doing an exterior siding, and I have my general contractor. When I arrived there to drop off some materials, they were already waiting for me to start a fight. They were like, all of them were like 9 out of 10 full energetic. And they were saying, "Where are you? Where are you?" And then, as any real estate investor should be able to do, put out a fire. So I did, all right, we're gonna fix this, we're gonna fix that. And then I was able to wrap up things in time. And part of that was telling people, hey, I need to be back in Curtis at 1 p.m. So I have to leave. I have to leave. So thanks for inviting me. You're my excuse for not
we
being in the job site.
we saved you some drama. That's good. It's always nice to avoid the drama when you can on the job site.
Yeah. Well, my real estate investment story is, I think, might be similar to a lot of accidental investors. I don't think mine is unique, but it resonates a lot about the things that we discuss in Duramarii in terms of being an action taker. Mine became super accidental because my background, as you can see, is mostly heavily academic. My wife and I are both professors. We came Canada 10 years ago for our sabbatical. And then here I kept doing applied work, teaching at university while working at a tech startup company. And a couple of years back in middle 2023, I want to say, I had extended family planning to come here. So we're the flag bearers. We had no family here. So, and then we were thinking, oh, since my, brothers and family are moving in, how about we buy like a 3 unit stuff or like a duplex that has a potential of 3 units. That's how we ended up, you know, having something other than our primary residence. But it is full of learnings, I want to say, because it was staged. I didn't know that there was a group of nice people called Duramarii. I had no idea. It's like good old school of big no-nos. I crossed all of them. Like I
Oh,
bought the
you
most,
did all the wrong things. You did.
yeah, I
Oh
bought the
yeah.
most expensive property on the street.
All
It
right.
was staged. I bought it thinking that I'm not going to spend a dime on it. And then the closing day, we figured out that there was a water leak in the basement, like foundation crack. And that was not the biggest problem. So we had a cockroach infestation that had been there for like 10 years and many more. So we ended up spending, I think, a little over $200,000 on top of our drained status because at the time being, I spent all my savings for down payment. And then to sweeten the deal, we had my family decided to go back to Turkey, so they were unhappy with the state of Canada, which I can't blame them at this point. Anywho, I ended up with spending $500,000 on a property that I didn't want to live in. And while we're doing this, I had no experience. By the way, I used to call myself the least DIY person in Canada. I can change a light bulb. Like I was like that, right? And I can write a software about how to change a light bulb, but I was like that. And the greatest way of learning stuff is, I think, doing stuff. While trying to do stuff, I remember the day I was doing demo and doing demolition on a job site in your first time with cockroaches around the place it's not fun. And I remember my wife texting me the address, like Ability Center, well, at 7 p.m. you're going there. I said, all right, honey, like I'm already tired, like I don't want to go. But anyways, and they said, okay, there's an entrance fee. I said, like, I earn my life by talking, right? So I've been to, I forget the number of conferences that I've been to as a guest speaker, as a keynote speaker, and like, the science world. But the thing is, I am tired. I've been doing demos since 8 a.m. and there's a conference at 7 p.m., which I'm probably not gonna learn anything. But anyways, like, I've been married long enough to know the key to the happy life, happy wife, happy life. All right, honey, I'm going. I went there. I got a little bit surprised because there were a lot of happy people, which felt a little awkward. Like, people are paying this much and they're so happy. And as any skeptical person, I said, what's going on here? Right. And again, I'm gonna cut this part a little bit short, but overall, I met like 5, 10 people over there. 10 out of 10, they said, like, you're not gonna find a better community than this. And then so much like great words. Now that I do personally repeat as well in terms of Quentin being an educator, not being a gatekeeper, sharing things. So those are may sound like small things, but they're important. Like because
I,
of my
I I
yeah,
appreciate it. Thank you so much. But this is about you, so let's make sure
yeah,
that
Well, that definitely was about him, and I think
uh,
that I I would be interested to know if people want to write in,
yeah,
or like if you're leaving a review, let us know um, if you joined some kind of a group and that sort of helped you excel forward. What like so when you you're of course speaking about Durham REI. We never
yeah.
actually said that, but it's a very similar story for me. Other than I don't think I was in too deep. I more came because I had the bug. I think I had one rental property when I discovered Durham REI, and that was pretty early on.
Yeah, you were
Um,
wholesaling too.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, I was trying to.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think I was actually doing it. Like I think I had the signs out and everything.
Yep.
But ended up see right there. Like I mean, I did a few deal. Like I did a few wholesale deals, and going to Durham REI, everyone was like, "Rob, what do you got?" I was literally mobbed pretty much every time, every month. So that was kind of cool, and it actually helped, you know, me be able to sell these properties. Because what would you do? Where would you go to sell them? I mean, there is other places, but it was very cool. And
Yeah,
so,
that's good. Like you want to be able to to share what you're doing with people, and I think when you're with people who are doing what you're doing, it makes it easy to share. Also, when you're looking for solutions, like you either you will find the solution in the group or you'll get connected to people that help you. So like that's what I've found useful when you're attending different types of groups. Like I run Durham REI, but I also participate in, for example, the Toronto Business Society, and I learn a lot from that group. And their businesses are, a lot of them are much bigger than mine, so I learn from them, right? So it's just like different groups where you learn. So I appreciate that. But like, so you started off with the triplex, and then you moved on and you bought another property after that?
Yeah, I think that's the part that I was going to use the drum ROI as a segue because the keyword is, I guess, resonate. Because at that point, we were financially drained, we were emotionally drained, physically drained. Any sane person would probably take a couple of years to recover, right? But we wouldn't because the keyword is, as I said, resonate. We're living in an era, I guess it wouldn't be too wrong to say we're surrounded with Instagram or TikTok gurus that are selling you the key to success, the key to life, right? They are selling this keys. Anywho, so I met that community that helped me a lot in terms of, oh, they're actual people and there are people that are doing this. Ergo, I can. So after that drainage period, like we started in July, wrapped up by the end of November, and then December, I think I remember we've been to Mexico, like Playa del Carmen. And on the way back, January, I was walking the kids off to school and I saw my neighbor's property up for sale. And I remember the old lady who used to live there because it was not maintained, the grasses were not cut, like a typical burr story. I called my agent. I said, all right, let's see. And he said they're withholding offers, and it was priced like a fishing price, like it was almost 40% off the per market value. And then, as expected, the property was not in great condition. I can say the only silver lining was there were no rat droppings because the lady used to live with 20 cats. It was just, cat piss and you can't breathe in. And it's like, oh, I want this. Like, yeah, now, my thing. Anyway, we got that one. We closed that in March, and this time we were a little bit more experienced because we got our, the learnings from the previous project. And then we were able to wrap that up by July. And it was a successful refinance. We were able to get all the investment we put over there. And by the way, for those, anyone watching, anyone listening, if you're thinking, how in where do you find the money? Like it requires down payment. And by the way, there's no fishy business. Like 20% down payment, or even for my case was 25. I was going with TD, a lender. I do my personal business with TD. So how it happened. So the theme of the second project was I was listening to a lot of people, hey, I'm lending this much money. I'm using private lending, like this and that. And I said, I have my own savings, but I don't want to touch my, TFSA and RSP. They're like the last plan, last resort. If something goes sideways, I want to keep my savings, right? And I said, all right, I want to learn how to do creative financing. So the second one happened by uh, I connected with someone who's doing private lending. I got some money, not only for down payment, also to cover some of my construction renovation costs. And overall, after the rehab and refinancing, it covered the down payment, it covered the construction cost, and on top of that, we had a small amount on it was 100% per, so it was yay nice. Again, I'm like, it is nice once they're done, but the friendly reminder for everyone, uh, there's always more than meets the eye. It is not as simple as it sounds. There's always um, unforeseen things, unexpected things. I always remind myself, including today, it's not so easy. Had it been so easy, then everyone would have done it, right? So that's the thing. Like, and also it applies. Like, I'm applying a lot of things that I've learned throughout my career in software development, in machine learning, and AI development. Interestingly, there are a lot of overlaps between software development and real estate development. And one of the favorite books of mine is this, Hard Things About Hard Things from Ben Horowitz. These guys are the biggest funding A16Z. They're a private funding company for startups in Silicon Valley. But in a sense, that books talks about doing hard things about hard things. So that made our skin a little bit tougher. So we used to be, oh, there's a drywall patch. What are we gonna do? To, oh, like we need to replace entire flooring. Yeah, like time, money. It's a project management from that point. And then the next project happened in 2025, like 6 months ago. In
So this is your third project. So you've done two triplexes at this point, or
No, one, the first one was triplex. The other
yeah.
one was duplex conversion from single home.
Okay.
And the third one was in Peterborough, again, single family home to duplex.
Okay.
And the fourth one, like I've come from the fourth one right now,
Right.
that's similar. That ended up, by the way, the third one was in Peterborough because a friend of mine's son goes to Trent.
Right.
And we've been to Peterborough for the zoo and the kids and stuff, but I was not planning to invest in Peterborough until the market started going down and the numbers made more sense, and met a couple of people in Durham who does investment in Peterborough, and it's not too far from my house. And
Right.
thanks to Doc Ford, 407 is free, so it's like half an hour from my place. Anywho, we said, all right, why not? That happened in May, and we were able to wrap that up by August. But the funny thing about that one is we started on mid of May. While I was going there, I saw a distressed property that was listed 450, which is, by the way, like these are nice numbers because for those who remembers what happened 2, 3 years ago, we had those 70-year-old bungalows selling over 1 million in Oshawa. So compared to that, I remember people were talking buy cash flow properties. Where are they? Like there's none, right?
Right.
So there are now. Anywho, when I was going there, there was a property not too far from my job site, and it was a 80 by 200 lot. It was in the urban, it was not in the rural, and the house was not visible because of the houses was like, not maintained at all. And we said, maybe we went with a lowball offer. We were able to acquire that. So we closed that in July.
Okay.
Um, and
So
then
this was on top of the
the
duplex
first
that
one
you
in
were.
Peterborough. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So,
So now you've got two in Peterborough and two in Oshawa.
yes, this one is, yes, one in Oshawa, one in Curtis. And I'm in Curtis, by the way, so my primary is
Right.
in Curtis as
Okay.
well. One in Peterborough, another one in Peterborough. This is the one that we're hopefully gonna wrap up in 2, 3 weeks.
Okay.
And in next Wednesday, in 5, 6 days, I have another one in Peterborough that I am closing. So I put the deposit 2 weeks ago. It's a quick closing, and I got my commitment letter. Fingers crossed by November 12th, when we have the meeting, Quentin, bring
Yep.
action taker stuff.
There you go. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's
Excellent.
gonna be the closing on next Wednesday. So, and that's gonna be the same thing, like a brick bungalow built in 60s, 70s, and it's gonna be a legal 2 unit. So, and then
Are you,
refinance.
what are you doing with these? So the one that you bought in June, you've refinanced it already, or are you waiting to
Yeah,
refinance that?
no,
You've
no.
refinanced?
Yeah, I refinance it. Since I'm also doing things with borrowed money, I'm not like I'm not optimizing things in terms of rate, in terms of maximum value for me. So there's something in maths called local optima trap. So I'm not trying to optimize things for short gain. I am into like a longer arc, if that makes
Okay.
sense. So
Yeah.
in other words, I would like to be able to pay my private lender sooner so that I can acquire more. Like remember when you were
Yep.
saying I'm poor quality. I
Yes.
am not. I'm definitely not. I'm poor volume, man.
You're for volume right now. It's okay. At different times, you're at
Yeah,
different
yeah, yeah.
places in your
And also,
investing.
I guess we're
Yeah.
like 20 years apart. Like you
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
probably 2 decades sooner than me. I
Yeah.
can say, I can humbly say that I just started 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So
But you're doing really well. You've got more properties than most people will have in their lifetime. and I don't think you should discredit that. When you go into rooms and you meet people that have lots of experience, sometimes you feel like you're you're not, you start to compare, right? And you shouldn't really do that because you're much further apart than everybody. You learn from them for sure. So
Well,
now you're going to do your fourth property, and you're going to refi it and hold it, is what you're telling me, right?
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much all of them. So I'm not into flip
Yep.
yet for multiple reasons. Like I don't think, in my humble opinion, the market is right point in terms of doing a flip. And also, as I said, I'm into more wealth generation in long run. So that's why I'm like buy and hold. Right now, the current strategy is buy and hold. But the only thing is, I think I'm getting a little bit itchy in terms of the current scale. In other words, probably small multifamilies like 10, 12, 14 units probably is going to be the next step. But the last two projects, like the one that we closed in July that I'm
Yeah.
currently working on, and the one that we're going to close next week, they were like last minute, and also they were too good to miss. Like they are the comparable. Once you have a comparable sold across the street for 680, and then you know that you can close it for like 450 or something, and then it's like it's yelling at you like buy me. So yeah. Yeah. And in
Eh,
turn, by the way, just to respond to the comparison stuff, I had a colleague of mine at Ontario Tech Union here in Oshawa, one of the distinguished profs. I often quote from him. So comparison is the thief of joy. So I never ever compare myself, uh,
okay.
apart from my yesterday. And also, here's the thing. I think I've told you this before. The one that I really envy about you is your physical health. Man, that's hard. I've met a lot of wealthy people. That's okay. Like in tech, you can see people who are acquiring $600 million in 3 years. You can be a crypto millionaire, you can be an app millionaire. Like I've been in the same room with a lot of them. But it's not so easy to change mindset, change lifestyle. So those are, in my humble opinion, way harder than, what you do. So that's why respect. I
Uh,
see in hiking, you're, in physical good health, knock on wood, don't die in the next week up until our.
just I did all my pull-ups and push-ups today, and I did my this is was my 1 hour of arms. I called it arm blaster. So it was good. Good day today.
I want to clear a couple of things up if I can.
Yeah, for sure.
So, um, all of these properties you bought and you added a suite to them. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
forced
So,
depreciation.
one was a duplex, you added a third, and
Yep,
then two were or I guess three are single families, and you have or are going to add a second.
added. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
Four of them.
Four of them. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay.
So this is the
Yeah,
fifth
but the
one.
one was a triplex and the three are duplexes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Four.
Four
Because he,
altogether, correct?
yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
no.
So
So
it's gonna
he's
be three in Peterborough, one in Curtis. Those
Oh,
are the
I missed the third one in Peterborough.
well,
My
things are
bad.
changing
Okay,
so
gotcha.
fast, even like
he's got one that he's
But no, one
closing on
thing I've
November the
noticed here, one
14th.
thing I've noticed is now obviously you're doing some of the work yourself, you said, but you're not doing all of it. And your timelines sound pretty tight,
yeah,
right, to get this stuff done. So, and also we'll talk about you said, that you weren't, you see the optimization on the refi. That's where you're experiencing the optimization. So what, like, you kind of sort of discredited yourself a little bit, I think, when you were talking about the buy, because you're always looking at what it's going to be when you're done. And then the success that you've had being able to pull that money back out on a refi, um, is pretty impressive. So I would say that's definitely optimization. But your timelines are, you're buying in March and having the project wrapped up in July. Like, how are you doing that? That seems pretty streamlined.
Tight, yeah.
well, I'll reveal the secret. That is. my wife. So it's not a single game, to be honest. Like half of it, I usually like I told this the first day I met Quentin. I'm just Uber driver. When I came there with a drywall dust in my hair, paint in my pants, I said my wife sent me here. Like I'm just a Uber driver. So there's a brain behind this shell. It's a team game, and it is usually it's always nice to have someone to rent. Like run. Sometimes there are days that you're super upset about your contractor, your supplier, someone. And again, it's a team game. Also, the other things that I can share is we usually, not usually, we never ever go with the first coat. We try to first learn the landscape, whatever that is. So right now, I'm working with a general contractor that I worked in the last three, four projects. So part of the success is I haven't killed him yet. He hasn't killed me yet. But it is like we're not in Smurfs, we're not in, Teletubbies. In the workplace, there's gonna be some friction. So healthy friction, that's happening. But on top of that, like you need to be aware of uh, whatever you're doing, right? So if you don't know, you cannot manage. To be able to know that, so you need to be hands-on, whether that's electrical, that's planning, that is city, that's Ontario Building Code. Take the time and read it, man. And if you don't have the time, we have the tools, like use all the LLMs to buy you some time and do be active, do your research as in like uh, put the hours in it and also get the real codes. Like there, the pricing differs from the location. Like the price in St. Catharines or Niagara region is not going to be same as in Peterborough, right? And the timing as well. So I think anyone who has done this before knows that your codes will not be same in June versus November. So because of the load or the people's um, appetite to take that job. So that's one thing. And also, we always go with proper contracts. So contracts, as in, it's not like, good old school, hey, here's my cash, I damn on you, and I just fingers crossed do this. It's more like the things that I do with my, other hat, where with my, in tech landscape, if you're building an app and if you're working with like across the globe, different partners, you have your milestones defined, right? So same here, you define your milestones, you check the work done, and then you process your payments. And uh, is it easy? No. But is it doable? Yes. Like if I could do it, you can do it as well. So it's not that hard.
So describe a little bit of some of the milestones that you would have in your conversion projects. I think that might help people to understand how you're able to do these projects with the efficiency that you have been.
Yeah. So first things first, I think the most time consuming one is the figuring out the landscape, aka getting codes, having an understanding of um, how long it's going to take to get the permits from drawings to, you know, from the material, everything. So it starts with planning. Even planning the planning is a phase, right? And then once you do that, you start shortlisting the contractors, the people that you're going to work with. And that's, I can say, probably the most critical element. That's more important than the hiccups that you're going to have with the city or the hiccups with the bank during, like, they all happen. Like, they're not unique to me, I'm pretty sure. But the most important thing is not the destination, I guess, is the people you walk with, like whether it be your contractor, whether it be your JV partner, whether because if you do not have a proper channel to communicate, if you're not speaking the same language, if they have different set expectation, if they see you as a disposable project, hey, I'm gonna do a project with him and I'm done. So that's a different mindset versus hey, this is a long journey. So this is one step out of many. So that's how I ended up working with the same guy because I've been telling him, hey, this is the first project, but I'll do many. He refused my first proposal in the first project because I told him, hey, I'm going to pay 100% after the rehab. And he said, well, of course, no. So, and it took again couple years to be at a point, it's not 100%, but 40%, we can move some of the costs. Like I'll fund you until you do the finance because right now we've completed a couple of them, right? And even with that trust in place, as I said, you do your good old school Excel spreadsheet with a um, detailed agreement. Like, here is your deposit. Here is after demo. Here is after rough-ins. This is the timeline. These are the things on my plate. I like to manage the city myself. I have my architect as well, and as an engineer, I'm pretty familiar with the drawings and all of them. But the thing is, I like to handle the communication part because you'll be surprised the number of times one party is waiting from another party, and these guys are waiting. It's just a delay for nothing, right? So, other than that, I think it's just orchestration and project management, a bit of patience, and believing in the fact that it's all gonna be all right, with a bit of delusional, I guess. So that's the success, like be delusional.
Be delusional. That's
Yeah.
the first time I think we've heard that on the podcast, eh, Rob? I love it.
Yeah.
No barriers, man.
Very
Like
tongue in
no
cheek, though.
limits. I know.
Yeah.
I get it, but it's true. I think like a lot of times we are the ones that set the limits on ourselves that prevent us from doing things. I mean, when I was at 330 pounds, I set a goal to run a marathon. Like it's not that's not a reasonable it's not a reasonable goal. Like I've you set goals to climb mountains, or multi-day hikes, or whatever your goal is, or do a basement conversion in 2 months, right? Or like those aren't reasonable goals for most people, but that's not how you're able to do the things that you do. And you surround yourself with people who have the same mentality, you tend to take that on. I think one of the guys that I know wants to be able to do an infill development in Toronto in months, which is like unreasonable. But that doesn't mean that like I get inspired when I talk to him, because I just like I think, wow, this is a guy who's doing things differently than everybody else, and doesn't mean he's wrong. It just means that he wants to push the boundaries of what is acceptable. And I think you're doing that, uh, by getting these projects done in such a short amount of time. I remember doing this back in, I don't know if you remember this, Rob, back in 2013 and 14, when I was doing like a bunch of like conversion projects at the same time, and getting them done for in weeks. But like it's hard. Like you're managing a lot of different trades, and you're making sure they're coming in at the same time as other trades are going out, or you're having like a really good GC that's able to help you to do that, right? So good on you. That's great stuff. You must have like, so you're doing all this yourself. You're good. Usually what happens is there's a point at which you need to get X other money in order to be able to grow. And if you're looking at going to 5, 10, 12 units, what's your next steps?
Well, I think the most realistic next step is surrounding yourself with the people who've done it.
Right.
So that's what I'm doing in the last few meetings. I'm talking to people who were at the same place that I am right now. Like I know people who had five, six properties. They were thinking about multifamilies again 2 years ago. And I see now they have. Like they have one, two, and four units, one like what I'm talking
Yep.
about.
Yep.
And now I would probably connect with them and then see the financing side. I've sort of did my due diligence in terms of what are the conventional financing, what's the CMHC, what are the strategy, you exit with it, buy with it. Like there are a couple of things, right? And also try to read a little bit about the future, which is not easy because we all know like the rental, Ontario is interesting, man. So it's the weather and the season is changing too frequent, I guess. So because what I want to do is usually when everybody is in greedy, then I am fearful, and when everybody is fearful, I'm greedy. So I cannot read the room in terms of I feel like everybody's getting greedy. Should I be a little bit fearful in terms of multifamily? Because Last year it was not like this. 2 years ago it was not like this. But now it feels like there's a lot of multifamilies coming in. But again, I'm not gonna let my overthinker because for almost, almost entire my life up until 2.5 years ago, myself, my wife, and myself, we were overthinkers as two professors in engineering. Everything was analysis and analysis. Like, for give me anything, I can find you 99 reasons to not to do that, right? And then we invented something like um, Max Retard. So before you do something, you drop all those overthinking. You say, all right, do I have 51% of the knowledge? That's enough. Like, I don't need to see all the exits. I don't need to see all 3 billion possibilities in parallel universes. Like, do I have 51% off? If is the information gain a little bit better than the equilibrium? Yay, I can go. So that mindset is, I think, not too bad in terms of action taker. Otherwise, I know a lot of people because of the tech environment. I'm surrounded with people who are making a little bit better than minimum wage, let's put it this way. And they can acquire way more than I can do. Like, they are financially in a good place. But what's holding them back is this action-taking mindset. They're fearful for the reasons, like for the things that's not going to happen. Let's put it this way. So their risk tolerance is non-existent. So that's why that's that part. And coming back to the multifamily stuff, hopefully I am like that's in the horizon for 2026. But I think the first thing starts with a bit of, mentorship, communication, to talk to the people who have done it. But definitely, like, I want to say I'm a little bit the least fun part of doing this thing is talking to the appraiser, trying to explain, hey, like, this was in this state, we put it into that state. Doesn't matter what you tell, it's all dictated by the house across the street. That's a little bit, that's the bottleneck in my process. So
And that, I think that's the difference between that and multifamily. Like multifamily, when you're looking at the appraisal process, it's really about the net operating income of the building, and the value is defined by that. And so, I mean, there are other factors. It's not just that. There's also the condition of the building, the location of the building, but it's not about like you can have two buildings side by side and have a significant value difference. So I think that's it. I would see too that like when you're getting into these bigger buildings too, you may consider raising capital as a component of that and finding partnerships and things like that to with like-minded people who are interested in doing the same sort of thing as you, which is always possible. So are you open to that? Would people reach out to you if they were interested in those type of possibilities?
I think that's also a gradual state. Again, in my humble experience, which I am grateful for a lot of friends in Romaria. I have learned a lot from Alex about JVs and the books that they recommended. I'm a lifelong learner. And I believe that is not a binary state. It's not a zero, people don't trust you versus, oh, they trust you with everything. It's a gradual increase. Why? In this journey, I've had friends, family, my inner circle being very supportful and skeptical in terms of, like, are you sure? Like, are you sure? Like, you were a healthy person, like, you were okay. Why are you doing this to yourself, right? And then in time, it became like, how can you do this, right?
How did you end up with five properties?
Yeah. Yeah, they're asking me, like, are you
I c-
smuggling fentanyl? Like, no, I wish. No, I don't. Anywho, like, that gradually builds, I guess, with the success, right? So the potential is there, yes, but you need to have a little bit of credential that you need to prove them. You have a Rolodex, you've done this, you know people, you have your community. I think that's my humble opinion in terms of working with partners. If they're going to be the silent partners, if you're raising money, I think the element of expertise or experience should be on the table. Otherwise, like, I'm doing, like, if I were the money partner, I would want to see, like, I wouldn't work with any, you know, TikTok expert who's just selling their knowledge, right? It's more like, hey, the success is silent. Like people who've done it, they're doing it. Like I see them, they're silent. Um, yeah, I think you got my point, and
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting there one step at a time. I know there is this I don't want to call it FOMO, but there's a fear of being late is there. Why? I was already almost 40 when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. And it hit me hard because his poor dad describes me. Like his actual dad is a professor. No, I said like, no, this is me. I don't want my son to talk behind me like this, right? That's yeah. Although, I don't 100% agree with what Kiyosaki says everything, but it hits hard when you spend 4 decades of your life you dedicate to science and to humanity. I don't know, maybe at some point I'm more like George Carlin. We human beings are a little bit overrated. So
Yeah, we're all learning, and I think the most important part is that we have the ability to continue to learn. And as long as have an open mind, that really does help. And I can see that in you, that you really have an open mind and you're willing to continue to learn. So that I think that's important,
You know
especially
what
when there's
I
so many challenges.
you know what I think is great is that you're coming into a climate where a lot of people who are seasoned are saying, I'm just gonna, sort of sit back, right? Like it's not the same as it was before. But at the same time, I remember Quentin talking about getting anchored, right? And slowing down because you you're last year this property was only $300,000. Now it's $400,000. It's still cash flows, but I'm just unwilling to accept the idea that I'm going to pay $100,000 more than it was worth last year. So a lot of people have that kind of mindset, and it will stop them dead in their tracks. So you need to work in the climate that you have. There isn't any other choice, right? And
Yep.
I just applaud that you've been able to recognize that and go out and be successful.
And it's true too, the anchoring works in the opposite direction as well. So if a property was worth 500,000 and now it's worth 400,000, your brain panics and
Mm-hmm.
saying, is it going to go to 300,000? Right? Whereas
Yeah,
if the numbers make sense at 400,000 and you can hold it for 5 years, 10
doesn't
years,
matter.
doesn't
Yeah,
matter. But people get so stuck in because they look like they're day trading real estate, and you can't tell who is really successful in the real estate game if you like. I was talking to a guy out in Ottawa, Christian Svogel. I haven't met him before, but he's a great guy, good, interesting conversation, and he talked about something that I thought was kind of funny. It was like, you know. Um, like I was thinking about this, and he was telling me, there's people who are Facebook rich and Instagram rich, but that's as far as they're gonna get. Like, and unfortunately, like it's about what you are outside and not what you are inside, and
yeah. And you know what the
yeah,
unfortunate part of that is those people, that's fulfilling enough for them.
true,
You
yeah,
know, that's kind of scary to think about.
yeah.
yeah, sadder part. Yeah.
But
Well, this has been a
yeah,
very interesting conversation for sure. Not like just in different directions. So this has been really cool.
yeah, yeah. So how would people reach out to you if they want to talk some more?
Well, two things. I'm very active in LinkedIn. They can find me via LinkedIn. I usually respond to my LinkedIn pretty often. Um, or we can share my email. They can reach out to me. I want to share my
Okay.
phone, but we have a lot of robocalls in Ontario. So
Email would be great. We'll put it
yeah,
in
email
the
will be better. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
we'll
put
put
it
it
in
in
the
the
show
contact,
notes.
the show
I've got
notes, and
your LinkedIn right here, so I'll put that in there as well. And yeah, we definitely appreciate you taking the time today. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming on and sharing all that.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And before wrapping up, I just wanted to one thing resonated with me with the last part of the Instagram rich people, like why we do this. Like I showed one of my favorite books. The other favorite book is Simon Sinek's start with your why. So, we talked about it's not easy. Had it been easy, everyone would have done it. It's hard. There are, hard things about hard things and cool, cool, cool. But the burning desire to do that, like you need to sort of having a burning desire to do this. And for me, it's not the money. Like, interestingly, I am like burning out my cash. I'm burning out my mental health, my physical health. Like you had to, uh, you need to walk the walk, not just talk the talk, right? So anyone who's done it, they know what I mean. But that why, for me, for us, is not the Excel spreadsheet that shows you how you're going to be wealthy in 5 years or 10 years. It's more like, what's the definition of wealth to you? For us, it's financial independence that will allow us to do the things that we want to do. And it's not like being Elon rich, right? It's more like we like traveling. We've been to a few number of countries, so I believe the world is a book and each country is a page. So I want to read the other pages and I want to be able to do the things that I want to do. So that's why, as long as you have a meaningful why, I think how will come and somehow you'll be able to support that.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think that that's one of the main things that we try to get across on this show is that real estate like is not easy, but it can fund a lifestyle. It can definitely do that. So Quentin is off like constantly jet setting, you know?
Yeah, I
And
And
know. I think it took 20 years to be lucky. Like, oh, you're too lucky. You're going to
right.
Everest. You're too
Yeah,
lucky.
yeah.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and Rob is lucky to live in Costa Rica too, right? So like,
Yeah.
so I mean, like, this is the results of real
Yeah.
estate and investing in yourself and in the long term, right? So, and what's the best way that people can get in touch with you, Rob?
Yeah, go over to Point Break Homes CR on Facebook if you want to learn about what we're doing here. And if you just want to reach out to me, rob at mrbreakthrough.ca. Quentin, you.
Uh, Go to quintindesouza.com, book a 15-minute call. Happy to chat about real estate or whatever you're working on, and or come out to Durham REI meetings. Love to have you because it's a great place to visit and
Beautiful.
stay.
Lots of good conversations had there.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you.